Look out!
Surging up from the depths of the sea.
Horrifying, mysterious creatures whose attack on people sends the whole countryside on an endless search.
Unless something is done, and done quickly.
Is this the end of our civilization?
You'll pioneer with us the perilous descent into the unknown.
Yeah, what does that mean? What are you even talking about?
A deep, penetrating dive.
In the last calm and reflective moment, before the monsters came.
Humanoids from the deep dive.
Welcome to the podcast Humanoids from the Deep Dive, where we dig deep into the meanings and context of your favorite monsters and monster movies. Each episode will see guests, co-hosts, and myself give our take on an important movie, monster, and or film, and what we think it means, using everything from history and philosophy to films and folklore. While we are recording this the night before the objectively best holiday, Halloween, aka Samhain, aka, All Hallows Eve, and so we wanted to visit an entity that's representing the spirit of Halloween. It's a classic Halloween horror celebration film. We are looking at Trick or Treat and its central entity representing the spirit of the holiday, the reason for the season, Sam. So you can find us, fans of the show, on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Podbean, anywhere your podcasts are served. And you can also follow us on Twitter at HFT Deep Dive until the Twitter ship burns and it goes down like the Titanic. We will be the last crew on the top of the ship, playing Mournful, Mournful, probably like a version of the Monster Mash, as the ship burns. I love it so much.
Yep, that's how the Monster Mash goes.
Well, I mean, it's a Monster Mash, so that works.
Oh, okay.
Nice pivot.
Monster Smash.
You know what? It's been a long October for us folks at home, as I'm sure it has been for you. And just like in the thing, nobody trusts anybody now. We're all very tired.
Yeah, I've been in my sewer with Michael Myers playing with my Jar Jar Binks action figures.
With your new best friend.
God.
Folks at home, we were just a quick pivot. We were talking before I hit record. We were talking about Halloween Ends, and I won't go dig deep into the details, but because we might revisit it later. But it occurred to me that Halloween Ends is basically the same movie as The Last Jedi. So you have this like powerful someone or other who has been off the grid forever, and they end up being forced to be a reluctant mentor to someone. It's the same movie. It's literally the same movie, just the moral alignment's pivoted.
Yeah, I can see that.
And that's not an insult to either film. I have more things to say about Halloween Ends, but that one is not an insult. It's just a comment.
He's like, Michael Myers is back somehow.
Yeah.
I think you made that joke, Andre, earlier.
I did. And when you were talking about the sewer with the Jar Jar Binks toy, my mind immediately went to the Plinkett Star Wars Episode 1 review, where he turns the camera on and there's like people chained up in his basement and he's looking for the Star Wars toy so he can show it to the camera. And they're like, "Please, mister, let me go." And he's like, "Shut up, I want to find the sucker. Where's the where's the Jar Jar Binks sucker?"
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
This just keeps getting better, is what we're saying.
Exactly. Well,
and I'm just thinking of Mr. Plinkett as just like one of the roommate residents down in the sewer who's just trying to watch his Night Court tape.
Okay, so to pivot back to the intro,
we're on topic here.
So, folks at home, a final note. We're coming back from a bit of a hiatus, but we're running all cylinders. We're just so excited to talk to you and each other because We all look so good, honestly. You can't tell right now because this is radio, but it's true. I'm your host, Jeff Ewing. I'm a critic and entertainment journalist for Slash Film and Looper and all sorts of other places and doing all sorts of other random things, especially if it involves monsters. And I'd like to introduce my excellent slate of co-hosts. We got everybody today. We have Andre, we have Mike Vaughn, we have Luna Minui. Say hi to the peoples.
Hello, people.
Greetings. But thank you for joining us, especially on this spookiest and most beautiful of holidays. Today, as noted, we're talking about Trick or Treat, which is this. If you found this show, you probably know it. It's by Michael Dougherty. Dougherty? How do you pronounce that?
I think you had it right.
I thought it was Dougherty.
Dougherty.
Yeah.
Fantastic, because I've seen that pronounced differently for people that aren't this filmmaker, and so I'm like, wait, haven't had enough coffee yet, or I've had too much.
Or maybe like in the future he can come on and ridicule us and tell us how it's pronounced. So maybe we should just mispronounce it until he comes on the show.
Yeah, exactly.
I think every time you
Dougherty.
pronounce it should be slightly different.
Yep.
Mikhail Dougherty. It's a really, really fun 2007 anthology kind of horror comedy. There's a series of stories that kind of are interwoven both directly and also structurally. It's kind of an unusual anthology in that regard, because if you look at like the VHS or some of the other ones that have been coming out, they'll be a little more segmented usually, but this one just, I feel like
Aww, a tapestry of terror.
Yeah, I feel like maybe I scored some points.
That would be a good subtitle for this. that I
that's
make kind of follows that alliteration. So
yeah,
Trick or Treat, Tapestry of Terror. Yeah, you know.
Oh, they need a sequel. They greenlit a sequel. They need like a new title for it. I will pitch that. Yep.
So come on down, Michael Dougherty, and we'll sell you the script.
A++.
Yeah. Also, can I just mention how much I love Krampus, also, or Krampus, or however you want? Like, that's another one.
Let's mispronounce that too.
Krampus.
Yeah.
Crumpets.
However, it's pronounced. I love that one too.
Oh no, I love that one. Fun. That one's super fun, and then also I really like Godzilla King of the Monsters. I genuinely do.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's
he wrote that and Adam Wingard directed that. Is that right?
Yeah. Let me double check that real quick.
He directed that.
No, that one he did direct.
I thought Wingard did the Godzilla v Kong.
Oh, you're right. Sorry.
Yes, yeah. And he both wrote and directed it, and it was fucking great. It was baller. Save Mothra on everything. So, does anyone want to summarize Trick or Treat further, or some of the entries in it? Because there are a few short narratives.
I'm not prepared.
I'm like notoriously bad at like encapsulating stuff, so I'm gonna step back.
Okay, no worries. Okay, so there's a succession of film that's a little bit harder to summarize slightly because they're interwoven narratives in a way, but you have one about Charlie, who's this overweight child who like vandalizes jack-o'-lanterns, and then he ends up messing with the jack-o'-lanterns of the wrong house, and he ends up, I won't do full spoilers, but it's a horror movie about Halloween, so that was a bad plan, and he has a very bad day at the house of this guy who makes jack-o'-lanterns out of I will spoil this, human heads with his son. Takes casual drink of coffee.
Yeah, that's a sweet scene. It's like one of the most beautiful scenes in the movie, I think.
Ooh, okay, one of. All right, I'll take one of.
It is technically a sweet scene, yeah.
Hey. And
Luna, did you want to do it?
person is the principal.
Yes.
At this school where there are a bunch of kids, and I'm sorry, were we going in order, or can I just choose one?
You can just choose one.
Okay, I'm not going to choose my favorite. I'll choose my second favorite. So that's the principal that, like Jeff said, they are connected, and there are a bunch of children that go to the same school, presumably. And
You think?
And they are out on Halloween night, and there is a ghost story, if you will, from a Halloween school bus massacre that happened, and they decide to go visit the site, which, as you know, that can be very exciting if you're a young person and you're like, ooh, let's go to the spooky place. It just turns out that most of these kids are assholes, and so there's a bit of the whole movie has a morality, like a twisted morality through line, I suppose. And these kids go down while they're bullying one of them, and the ghosts happen to be real, and they happen to not like bullies, and so only one child survives. Does she?
Yeah,
she survives.
Yeah, I literally just rewatched the whole thing this morning, and that's definitely one of my favorites.
It's one of, like I said, it's my second favorite.
Yeah,
not including Sam's own story, I suppose.
Right. Yeah, because I consider that to be like the kind of like closer for the whole thing, like almost a frame story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Interesting, because that's my absolute number one top favorite segment of this movie.
Which one?
The school bus.
Oh yeah, it's
kids.
so good.
It's really good.
I
dead kids. Then they kill the kids, and then there's more dead kids. Yay!
And just as a side rant, God bless Spirit Halloween, because they put on some real love for Trick or Treat this year. I did end up getting that little kid's Dracula mask.
Oh, that's great!
A Holly Ho candy bar with the fake blade stuck in the middle of it.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh, yeah, Sam has gone through a resurgence in the last 3 to 4 years, and it's weird because I came to this movie relatively recently, but before a little bit of all of this, and my partner has been watching Trick or Treat since 2007, so it's interesting that I wonder why it's had this resurgence as a cult horror classic when there's not been a re-release,
I think it just got
finally
Scream or Shout Factory
only
release.
but all the Spirit Halloween things that started happening like I said 3-4 years ago. It's only gotten more and more and more intense, to a point where I'm like, well, now I don't even want Sam stuff because now everybody's got Sam stuff.
I feel the same way. I felt the same way about the Babadook, because there was a period of time where it was taken by the queer community, and then you could get Babadook stuff everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But before that point, there was a moment before that where you couldn't really get much of anything, and my partner got me a handmade Babadook off of Etsy, and it was great, and it came from Russia.
Cool.
And I was like, you fucking badass. I'm literally looking at it right now. It's so cool and creepy. It's it looks like a voodoo doll almost, with a nice hat. And then I love it, and now I still love it because it's unique and it's not all these professionally branded things. But then it got so popular, and you can get Babadooks everywhere, and I'm like, guys, calm down.
Yeah.
And I want the children that are alive to have their things that they like, and I want the children that are dead to have the things that they like too. But I just found it so strange that it got such a resurgence, and I could not figure out what the impetus for that was. I even feel like the re-release, the Shout Factory re-release is like was in response to this whole resurgence that's happened.
Well, I think part of it, and I don't think this explains all of it, but part of it is there's been an overall resurgence in anthology horror films.
True.
Like the VHS films have gotten super popular, and there's been other ones, like Mortuary Collection, that have taken off. And with Shudder too, like those have an outlet now where they regularly go to Shudder and get very popular. When it was more difficult to like find a home for them too.
Yeah.
And so that's a good contact for people like, hey guys, you like anthologies, you know which one you slept on, and so that might be part of it.
Yeah.
And also Trick or Treat, like when I'm gonna stick to the bit here, Michael Dougherty directed this. He so this movie was shelved for like years, and like it was announced it was going to come to theaters like mid 2000s. They said 2005 or 6 or something like that, and people were like, cool, we're getting a Halloween themed anthology horror film. This sounds great. This is what it looks like. It's going to have like this little kid character named Sam, looks super creepy. We're on board for this. But then the studio at the time, they looked at it and they just didn't know what to do with it, so they just kind of shelved it, and then they silently released it direct to DVD, like only DVD, in like 2008 or something like that, or 2009. I remember because like I waited for that disc to come out, and I got it as soon as I could, and then like had a whole watch party in college and blew our minds, you know, back when things in college could blow your mind, and that was kind of it. Like there was no talk about theatrical re-release, any other kind of like remastering work until I think the commercial license came around to like license products based on the movie. And that's probably where Spirit Halloween came in. They decided, well, this is actually kind of gaining a following, so let's have like little Sam Halloween popcorn bowl greeters or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Sell them at Spirit for like $75.
And
if
it's
people
so
buy them, then
marketable too. I mean, Sam is just fantastic as a marketing tool.
Yeah, it's just a really like great, well-designed, fun little central to Halloween character, you know.
Also, since we're talking about like the school bus segment, it was kind of cool because I was interviewing Richard Harmon, who actually plays the little vampire kid with the vampire mask.
Oh, fun. That's fun.
And he's like, oh my gosh, he's like, it was so wild because when I talked to him, I think it was like that day they were doing the screening, like the first theatrical screening of Trick or Treat, which he was like going to.
Wow.
But I was like, oh man, did you get to keep your mask? Cause like now it's sort of everywhere. He's like, he's like, no, he's like I guess the director or whoever made it maybe got it, but I was like, how surreal is it to like see that everywhere now? Like, just Mark. I mean, it's like basically like that's your character kind of everywhere. And he's like, he's like, cool. I can't go to like any like, I mean, even not even just like Halloween store, just like even just regular kind of places. It's sort of all over the place now, which I think is awesome. But
I mean,
he was
you can
super
find
nice, but like
stuff literally everywhere.
Yeah, I was like, dude, that's got to be so weird to like, you know, see that stuff all over the place now.
That's so cool.
Well, I hope that the shoot wasn't like too taxing for him, because like otherwise that mask might bring back some like unsavory memories from the set.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like working with kids it's a whole different thing in movies.
Yeah, since that wasn't our like central focus, we talked about it a little bit because I was like, how can I not? But like he didn't seem to he didn't seem to have any like bad memories about it, so it must have been all right.
That's good. They're all tucked away.
Yeah. It's like funny because like he's like, yeah, like hardly anybody like knows that that's me because of course I was a lot younger and wearing a mask, but like I think he was like pretty young. Like I think he was actually like, I guess a kid. Like I don't know because I don't know.
What even are kids?
Like
we
just
don't
a short
know.
person.
Yeah.
Like I'm short. I could like. I'm sure you put me in a mask, I could probably be a kid. I don't know.
Yeah, you pass for a kid easily.
I act like one.
Like I was hoping to like put on the mask myself and then put you in like his little sack, and then I could just keep you with me.
Yay!
Okay, so Luna, we know the entry that you wanted to talk about, even though it wasn't your favorite. I'm curious which one your favorite is.
You'll find out. No,
Cool.
the reason I didn't want to talk about my favorite one is because I won't stop talking about it. So I chose my second favorite so that I could be a good synopsis person.
Perfect. Is there another one that someone else wants to talk about?
I can do the Red Riding Hood one.
Love it.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So all of these segments are happening the same night, Halloween night, and one of the other segments is there's a group of girls at the nearest Halloween costume store. Let's just call it, for sake of commercial value, the local Spirit Halloween, where they're all getting together, trying on different costumes and trying to see what works best, and they land on a series of like fairy tale kind of costumes. Like one of them's dressed up like Snow White, one of them's got maybe like a belle from
Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast, yeah. And our main character of the segment, played by Anna Paquin, is wearing like the Red Riding Hood thing because she doesn't really, she's kind of sheepish. She's the quiet one of the group, and she doesn't really want to call too much attention to herself, so she just kind of gets like a red cloak and calls it good. So they just walk around for Halloween and just kind of walk past the usual stuff. I think at some point they interact with some of the other characters that are like, they're running around doing their own story bits from this anthology, and they come around to like a wooded area, kind of secluded, and there's this other like dark hooded figure wearing like a Venetian type mask, and he's got like fangs and stuff, and he's like pretty actively threatening the livelihood of one random lady in the alleyway, and the other girls opposite Anna Paquin's character is like, they decide to kind of remove him from the situation and expose his transgressions, and our Little Red Riding Hood turns out to have a little bit more, I don't know, dark justice in her than we had previously imagined, and I'm not going to reveal any more about that because this is also like one of the best segments ever. It's a total like turning of the tables, and perfectly set, perfectly doled out justice. It's not just about the sleazy man trying to use Halloween as an excuse to get into other people's pants, but also something else. There's kind of like a hunter / hunted angle to the whole thing too, which won't come out till later.
With
Yeah,
one
and a
of
good
the
comeuppance.
best physical effects, like practical effects scene.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking
In
that
the
when I
movies.
rewatched it. Luna, you're spot on, because it's I can't say what because it's too spoilery, but something happens in the end and it's fucking stellar. Like, the execution is great.
It's just so good. That's my favorite section. Like, I could talk about it forever.
That's
it's
mine
fantastic.
too.
I had
Other than
figured as
Sam.
much.
What? Me?
Yeah.
Liking something like that? Bizarre.
A jerk man gets something. Surprise.
Comeuppance.
Did you
Comeuppance is
guys
my
also know that the adult baby in that is also the baby in what was it? The House on Haunted Hill remake, maybe. I'm looking.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh,
'Cause,
interesting.
there was like a weird baby ghost thing, and he was that too.
Is there any other kind of baby ghost?
Yes. I can think of many adjectives.
Okay, all right, that's fair. But to be fair, I think the concept of a baby ghost is inherently weird.
Is it? Or is it just weird to you?
I said to me.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
Luna's
Just
like,
making sure.
she's like, okay, we need more dead babies. That's the
Well,
platform she's
there's
working on.
there's
Is this
sneaky
the
baby
same?
ghosts. There's vindictive baby ghosts. There's quiet, sneaky baby ghosts.
There's cute baby ghosts, and there's
Cute baby
ugly baby
ghosts.
ghosts, and there's chunky baby ghosts, and I'm cuddling those ghost babies. And then,
Oh, I'm sorry. It was
Banty
13,
baby ghost.
It was 13 Ghosts, where he plays the giant baby ghost.
oh,
thing.
cool.
Oh,
That's
okay.
cool.
But it was the John Waters for kids version, the 13 Baby Ghosts, where all the roles are played by children.
I'm sorry, John Waters for kids. What?
Oh, okay. So, total sidebar. So I went into a John Waters plunge earlier this year. Mike, you know about that.
Yep.
And so as you do, you start with Pink Flamingos, right? Because you got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I learned after watching Pink Flamingos for the first time that John Waters created a production of, like, basically a re-performance of Pink Flamingos, but he cast children in excuse me, in all of the roles. And I think they had like a few like table reads, and he eventually filmed it with like minimal maybe minimal, I'm not sure, like production and staging and stuff. And if you've seen Pink Flamingos, this may or may not be a little concerning, but I have never myself been threatened by John Waters' effect on children, so I'm totally cool with it. Anyway, that was my sidebar into the 13 Baby Ghosts, directed by John Waters.
10 out of 10.
No, it is a great segment, and I think that there's something kind of especially when you know the twist, when you rewatch it, there's like so many hints.
So
and,
many.
Like, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it just speaks to just how efficient and clean and lean the writing is in this.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And the execution too is just like you're really pulled along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I also especially appreciate how each segment in this anthology is happening obviously on the same night, but also in the same relative like localized area, like just Anytown, USA kind of place. Could very well be Haddonfield. This could be, you could write this into the Halloween universe, like fuck it, why not at this point? And it also kind of gives you a nice little jump between different times of the night, because like you might see one segment and you're like, oh, okay, so that's what happened to this character, but then later on you'll see them like say maybe it's someone who dies, and then you see them later on, and you're just putting the events together in your head, just creating a map of it all, and you just remember that, oh, okay, so this is before this happened, and this is what they were doing when this current story was taking place. And it's just like, it didn't need to be there, but it's just another thing that just makes the movie that much more enjoyable, just giving you those extra puzzle pieces to figure out.
Yeah, I completely. I think that's kind of like, I mean, outside of it just being like a hell of an entertaining film, I really do love, as you say, like the extra layer of like doing fragmented time, almost like a Christopher Nolan situation. Because yeah, I think it does add kind of an extra like layer, as you say, like puzzle piece, which I don't know. Like, have you all encountered anybody that didn't like that aspect about this film? I mean, I haven't, but
No, but I hang out with cool people.
Yeah, I mean, like, when I had my big college trick-or-treat party, I think the only people who weren't really into it, other than people who just weren't into horror, it was probably just because that they just weren't fucking paying attention. You know, and like, whatever, it was just a movie that was on, and they just kind of like did their own shit. So I didn't quite take that to heart, because like, you're not watching the movie, so you can't, in my mind, you can't throw criticism at it.
Yeah.
But it was a response that I heard.
Let's see. Have we talked about the principal one, the school bus massacre, the surprise party? Does anyone want to complete the whole shebang by talking about either the conclusion or the Sam story?
Yeah, I'll do the Sam one if you don't mind.
Cool.
So I don't know if this is my favorite, because I do think like the school bus one is probably my favorite, but I do really love this one. I think that I guess I'll maybe try to sum it up first. So we find out that Sam is like visiting this cranky old man. We're not really quite sure why. He's basically like stalking him. Are we doing spoilers?
I think for this one I'll allow it because it's about the titular character and we need to like really flesh it out, so that's good.
Yeah, I'll just say huge spoiler alert coming up. So if you haven't seen this, I don't know what you're doing with your life. Drop everything and watch it now.
Yeah, just close your eyes and continue to listen.
But yeah, so I'm gonna spoil some stuff. But so it turns out that the reason why he's being stalked is he's the bus driver that killed all these kids at the behest of the parents, and they are like getting their revenge, as it were. And this is again not my favorite segment, but it is such a well done, fast paced. Like, it almost kind of plays out like a live action cartoon, like a live action like Tom and Jerry, but just like a little bit darker, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And the effects are great. Sam is so adorable. He really gets his time to shine in this one. So yeah, it's great. I think like the practical effects in this are fantastic. When they shoot Sam and it just like is like all this like pumpkin debris and goop, like it's just amazing. I love it.
Yeah, I love it. It also like gives a really good look at to like Sam's capabilities and how he operates as a thing, as an entity, as a something. And I love the scene where he's like the guy's crawling to the door and then Sam's crawling like across the ceiling. It's just a nice shot.
It's so good.
And then Sam gets like shot with the shotgun and then like still didn't take him out. That's all I'll say. But he's just a resilient, powerful little scamp.
I know, he's so adorable. I know, like, he murders people, but I feel like it's just bad people.
It's people that
Yeah.
don't support the spirit of Halloween.
Yeah. So
He is the spirit of Halloween incarnate with weapons.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I would say that pretty much all of the deaths that happen, maybe not all of them, but like a good many of them in this movie are facilitated by that fact that they're disrespecting specific Halloween traditions, or just disrespecting the dead in general on this night. Like, I mean, in the very beginning, you just have like this 30s, 40s couple, in their 30s and 40s, not a 1930s couple, but and like the wife or the girlfriend is like, I hate Halloween and I want to get rid of these decorations before tomorrow, and it's like, no, don't do that. That's bad luck. You don't do that. And she blows out a jack-o'-lantern before midnight, which is
which means you're an idiot.
Don't do that shit.
You're
like,
a moron.
Dude, this is Halloween
I call
night.
that
What are you
segment
fucking doing?
Halloween hater.
So, yeah. So of course she's gonna get, like, you know, choked and fucking killed. So you know, it's all of that happens throughout this. Even our bus driver and the final segment that gets his comeuppance for what he did and like didn't do, which is probably the ultimate transgression, because we're past spoilers now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, because of what he did, Sam is what he is, and I like to think that he's created a little tiny revenant child specter that can just, like, he's basically like a little Jason but with candy.
Yeah, basically.
And like, since we're kind of at the point of no return with spoilers with the end of the Sam segment, it's like, I love how you're like, okay, he's gone, Sam's gone now, like Roy from Secession's gonna be fine. I
blew
love
my
Brian Cox
mind
so much. I've been a huge fan ever since, like, he was the, like, OG Hannibal, which a lot of people don't realize or remember. But in Michael Mann's Manhunter, he was Hannibal Lecter. But yeah, he's great. Part of me thinks, like, that's just Brian Cox. Like, I think part of it's just like he is that grizzled, like, fuck off character. It's so funny. Like, I know I won't get into a huge side tangent or whatever, but like, lately I've been just identifying with Roy's from that so much. Like, I just want to tell everybody and everything to fuck off.
I mean, that's fair. I will say one thing about Succession that a lot of people don't know is that Sam in Trick or Treat is actually young Kendall Roy.
This is all leading up to Halloween night.
Yeah, because
secretly really into rap.
Exactly. And then, like, always about to cry at all times. Literally.
All times.
MC Crybaby.
I'm like, I like watched Succession for the first time recently, and I binged all 3 seasons. Folks at home, sorry for the pivot. And I will say, I was just like, why is that character spending literally 3 seasons on the verge of tears and never one comes out? And that's because he's the spirit of Halloween.
The pressure is too great.
He's like, I just want to take over this company because my dad keeps violating the spirit of Halloween.
Yeah.
So, does anybody know, like, what's holding up Trick or Treat 2? I mean, I know that's been in development hell for, like, a long time.
Well, it just got, like, announced that they were going to, like, full tilt green light it and actually hopefully make some progress. So I don't know what's been holding it up, but hopefully that's over. I think now they see the dollar signs. So, thanks to Spirit Halloween.
Yeah. This podcast is in no way sponsored by Spirit Halloween.
They actually just took over the podcast and they put up a spirit sign.
Shit, they can sponsor this podcast as much as they fucking want, as long as I get more than 20% discount.
Yeah, I'm okay as long as I can get like licensed memorabilia for my favorite horror films for free. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
you just
high
help
quality.
me decorate my house. Yeah, help me decorate my house.
We'll just need to be careful about taking too long of a hiatus, because then they might just fucking take over our podcast.
I don't know if
right?
they didn't.
So
I need to double check.
I'm kind of curious, like, what do you think that they could roll in, like, Krampus into, like, part 2 somehow? I mean, I know it's like Halloween and Christmas is two very different things.
Well, I actually feel like they could, and here's why. Because if you think about it, Sam in this one is to pivot to the creature, the entity. Sam is, childlike, but he's a representation of. He's a keeper of the rules of Halloween, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, if I found out like Sam's rules on the internet, and it's like, y'all tell me if any of these are wrong, but this is from fandoms. So always hand out candy to trick-or-treaters, always wear a costume, never blow out a jack-o'-lantern before midnight. We talked about that one. Always respect the dead, always check your candy, never take down your decorations before November 1st. Why would you? Never hurt the innocent, and those are, according to the site, Sam's rules. So
Those sound pretty sound.
yeah, because I feel like that all works.
But that's like, innocent is kind of vague, like like,
I mean, like a good chunk of those are basically just common sense, except for like the don't blow your jack-o'-lantern out before midnight, which has a kind of a fairy tale curse kind of feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
even though like there's no reason why anyone would do that unless like you're doing your mischief night shit. But that's like the 30th from what I remember. But still, it does play into the movie because those are the rules that are observed, and that Sam kind of like, I guess in retrospect, he's probably delegating all this shit. Like, the ghost kids from the school bus. I don't know if he's necessarily facilitating the werewolf segment at all. If that's just like just a separate.
They're probably buddies, but like they're each running their own.
I see it as like he's aware of what's going on, and he understands the magic that allows them to do their thing, specifically on Halloween.
And he has to
werewolf.
Right, and he probably has to keep it within the rules of Halloween, because like they too are subject, I'm sure.
Like he's probably like, "Yep, the werewolves are coming to town. Yep, the ghosts are gonna be out." Like
ghost check.
Yeah, he's
Werewolves
like looking
check.
around, like, "All right, everything's in its place."
Do we have any ghouls? Are there ghouls here? Any ghouls? Fuck, the ghouls are late. The ghouls, goddamn the ghouls.
I just see Sam with a clipboard at the head of a class, and he's like trying to look into the back row.
Also, a little
mispronouncing
fun fact,
people's names.
Did you all know that Sean Clark, the horror Hallowed Grounds guy, like owns some of the Sam props?
Fun.
Oh,
Like, I think since we were kind of talking about the Sam segment, I think like when he rips off the sack and it's like maybe it's like a motorized situation, but I think like he owns like that and a couple other things. I thought that was a kind of a cool little thing to mention real quick.
That's super fun.
That's cool.
that's dope.
So I think to come back to your question, Mike, I think that they could work in the same world, because whereas he keeps the rules of Halloween, Krampus keeps the rules of Christmas. because what calls him is violating Christmas spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And so that kind of opens it up.
And I think it kind of could be like a really interesting, again, maybe like, because I think more people are open to like post Nightmare Before Christmas, having those maybe intermingle a little bit. I don't know. I think that could be cool, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just not sure how you would put that in a movie without making it seem like you're just doing a Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Unless there's like maybe like a time wheel. You know how like for example, I have a wooden wheel that has like the different seasons in paganism. You know, like there's Samhain, there's wow, I'm just forgetting. Anyway, Samhain's on there. Mabon and Samhain and so on. Where like they'll have that, but also maybe like little iconography thing, like there would be like a little Sam outline for Samhain, and for solstice, like winter solstice, they'll have like a Krampus outline or something that is indicative of like, you know, like look out for this shape, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, like the likelihood that they would do a crossover like would probably be like zero, but I don't know. I think it could be fun. I think it actually could even be like its own sort of crossover movie. But Andre, like you said, it's like how would you do that and not be compared to Nightmare Before Christmas? But I can dream.
Well, so here's how you do it. Okay,
don't make it a musical.
Like Anna and the Apocalypse, but this. No, okay. So here's my thing. All right, it's very political. So the setup for the film is that there's like an ascendant fascist organization that outlaws all holidays, and therefore violates the rules of all holidays. So all of these entities, you know, Krampus, Sam, I don't know, the Easter Bunny,
Indiana Jones.
Why not? Because fascism belongs in a museum. Come out, and then they just terrorize the living out of the regime until it's all dead and the holidays are restored. That would be that's my pitch.
Fuck the Nazis.
Exactly. Dead Nazis. This is on brand. Pro Munster, dead Nazi. There you go.
A humanoid original.
It's like every single Living in America is weird because every other episode comes back to like, and to be clear,
we don't like Nazis.
No, they do have a place, and that place is in a fucking museum only. Okay. But yeah, so Sam is the sort of immortal, powerful protector of the holiday, of the Halloween rules, the keeper of the rules, the keeper of the spirit. And I don't know, what do y'all think of Sam as a character?
Love him, adorable.
Yeah, you know, he's got just enough of that pathos to like fire up the imagination, but like you never really knew what he was like as a human, if he was, and that's the thing that makes him so compelling, because like trying to imagine what he was ever like as a kid, and this movie doesn't give you that, but it's like it's 100% trickster, so and you're willing to accept that too, so it's I don't know, it's like he's an absolute in this movie, and like rather than giving him an arc, like a character arc, he has more like a judgment arc. And it all kind of comes full circle for him by the end, but you still feel like he has more shit to do on his list.
Yeah, one thing I really love about Sam is that he's humanoid, but his face is a sack. Like you kind of see his face. It's a weird, fleshy pumpkin jack-lantern thing. He's not like human. Like you can't associate him with someone you grew up with your boss. You can't associate him with someone that you've literally seen before with your eyeballs. So it leaves so much more room for him to be a larger than life entity, where it's not, you don't have to bring he's, I mean, we say he, but he's pretty genderless. It's this character that is a force to be reckoned with, and you can identify with the force, but there's no really other type of identity to go with it. He's small and can rip his own limbs off. That seems, but again, like you don't really have anything to latch onto, so it creates more of a, I don't know, like more of a playground in my mind of who he is and what he can do, and that makes it super fun.
Yeah, it's the same thing that I liked about, and I mean it's the same filmmaker and writer, of course, but it's the same thing I liked about Krampus. Whereas, like, we all know the traditional Krampus lore. Folks at home, you can find our episode on that. It's one of our favorite entities on the show, certainly one of mine. But in addition to the lore, there's so many other evolving aspects. There's demonic toys. There's gingerbread men that'll mess you up. There's something in the snow. There's a whole host of entities that add elements to the traditional mythos and kind of like build off it. And Sam's not, to my knowledge, based off of any actual historical, like, pumpkin skull faced child spirit,
right?
But it evolves from these traditions, and it's like you're saying, it's like kind of a blank check and a process of discovery what it can do.
Yeah, and I think, and at Krampus, I go to the episode to find out all of my thoughts on it. I did enjoy the film, but there's something that Trick or Treat has that Krampus doesn't, and I think it's that freedom, that creative blank check, like you said, where you're not always measuring it up to this specific mythology. And I do think that some of the so in Trick or Treat there are all of these callbacks to stories, fairy tales, and American tales that most of us know without having to think about it too hard. And in Krampus, it was Christmas Vacation. And that felt less timeless, I suppose, than the Trick or Treat callbacks of, like, these, the girls are getting in these fairy tale costumes. We know who Little Red Riding Hood is. And then when the whole scene plays out, we understand why it's even better that she was Little Red Riding Hood. We understand the principal being weird and grumpy, and we understand why these characters do what they do, even though they are not necessarily like exactly the characters in stories that we've seen before, but they are so similar, and they're stories that are so broad and have been done so many times that they are at this point pretty much fairy tales. Whereas Christmas Vacation is Christmas Vacation, and I watch it every year, and it's the same, and so is Krampus. So that's I just feel like that's where Trick or Treat has, like, this significant leg up for me.
Yeah, and
I think, as you were just, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
As you were describing, the Krampus Christmas Vacation connections there, I figured out how to do it.
Yay!
How to do Trick or Treat and Krampus in one movie without making it seem like Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay.
It's a riff on a little movie called oh shit.
Oh no.
Hold on a second.
I've not seen Oh Shit, Hold On a Second.
I heard it was in post-production.
It's true, they have to CGI out all the mustaches.
I was gonna say while he's looking for that, I would definitely like agree that I think y'all are spot on by saying how like malleable like the character of Sam is, and I mean not only is he adorable and he's kind of like ready made for marketing, I think that like yeah you can project just about anything you wanted to on this character, and it doesn't give you so much that it's I feel like we tend to like things over explained, and I don't necessarily like that.
Agreed. I think we've talked about that on some episodes that I've been on, where I just feel like I'm getting to a point maybe in my life where I'm tired of being told what I just saw or what I just listened to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Trick or Treat does not do that.
Yeah, because I think that part of the reason why I got into horror in the first place, there's a lot of reasons because it's awesome, but I always, y'all know that I love like supernatural stuff, monster stuff more than like your average Joe slasher.
Really?
I know. I like monster movies, folks. This is surprising. But part of the reason why is because I love the sense that there's some magic to the world, when it's done right, that the world and the universe and the whatever are not what we knew or know. And so like that mystery where it's not over explained away and just made kind of bland, where the audience is trusted and it can just be something larger than life, is really freaking cool.
Mm-hmm.
I love that feeling.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I think this is a really, really fun. I love the character. I'm kind of surprised that we don't have like 4 of them already. Not to say that everything needs to be a big franchise, but it's just so well done, and there's so much you could do with the character. It's like a absolute blank check. That's a little surprising.
And
Yeah.
I almost wonder if, as much as I really want a sequel, it almost kind of makes the first one still feel very special, since it hasn't been really diluted in the sense of sequels. I mean, maybe in a way that its marketing is pretty heavy, but still, I don't think it's enough to ruin the mystique. I mean, it's just a really well-made, well-directed, well acted, well written, well everything movie. I mean, like, we've all seen tons of horror anthologies, right? And you always have one or two segments that are kind of duds or they don't really work. And I think like every single segment is like firing on all cylinders.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it kind of really
that, and also
go ahead.
Oh, that the wraparound is also part of those segmented stories too, because like a lot of the wraparounds for anthology films, they tend to just serve as like a waiting room between like the stories sometimes. Right. Very rarely does it have anything to do with like the actual stories that happen, unless like you're counting like your Amicus Tales from the Crypt or like maybe the Monster Club, but even then, like those are kind of like, I'm gonna tell you a story, and then at the end of the story it's like, well, how did you like that story? Well, I'm gonna go look at this over here for a couple of minutes so we can say that we paid our legacy actors to host the stories, right? And then you go back to the next segment. But this is just like seamless.
Yeah, and you could also tell that it has like, because like y'all mentioned, like in a lot of these anthologies, the quality and the voice, it's nice when they feel different sometimes if they're all bangers, right? But sometimes there are some clear winners and a couple, middling ones or duds. And I'm not naming any names, but we've all seen enough anthologies. Not everyone's a winner. But everyone in this one not only works, but it's cool that they all have the same feel, even though they're very different subgenres and whatever, because they have the unity of voice of the writer director behind them. And they're woven together so excellently.
Yeah, it's like you're watching a planned, scripted thing by someone who has thought of how to start, continue, and end their story, rather than watching basically an entire season's worth of a TV show directed and written by like scores of different people in the span of like 90 minutes.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, like that's a great point, and I would add to that, like the kind of like the recent VHS entries also really feels like it does have different voices, but it all feels really coherent. And like I talked to Josh Goldblum, the producer, about how like that was awesome. But anyways, I was talking to him about how he let the filmmakers kind of do what they want, but he helped sort of shepherd it in a way where you do feel like you're watching something like coherent and like it fits all together.
Yeah, I think especially for like the last two, because if I remember right, there are maybe 5 now. There's the original, I think 2 viral, and then the recent 2.
Yeah, 94 and 99.
Yeah, all of them have some really, really excellent entries, but the last 2 I feel have really honed in on finding a way to make them feel, even when the subgenres are different, like they're all playing the same sport, because like the pivot to having it be kind of era based and sort of nostalgic feel means that they can be wildly different, but at least the aesthetics kind of loosely match, even if they're very different visions.
Yeah,
which is kind of a nice way around the alternative like being having
they're
one
all different
person.
Stories.
Yeah, and I think that there's a lot of really interesting places you can. What?
Andre? Oh, were you going to say something?
Oh, I was earlier, but Mike, you still have stuff to say on the VHS anthology stuff. So go ahead.
Oh no, sorry. I was just going to wrap up my point that there's just kind of like the VHS series, like there's I like how there is such a blank check kind of mentality with this, where you can just kind of take this series anywhere.
Love it.
Okay. Going back to my my idea of how to meld these two worlds together, the Trick or Treat and Krampus, without trying to make it seem like just another version of slightly more adult Nightmare Before Christmas. As Luna was talking about the parallels between Christmas Vacation and Krampus, there isn't really one between Trick or Treat and any other thing that we know, unless you count just like your garden variety horror anthology movie. So I propose an island that has all of these entities just like kind of like in factions, and we have a group that is slightly related to the family from Krampus, but every single one of them like hates one specific holiday, and that makes every entity on the island mad. And yes, it is a beat for beat retelling of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation 2, Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure.
Oh my god.
That's a deep cut.
If
Wow.
anything, Randy Quaid is already like ready to go. He's signed the paperwork. We're gonna CGI Ed Asner in this thing, and it's gonna be a fun time. It's a tropical island, but there's Halloween stuff and Christmas stuff. It's gonna be wacky.
Welcome to Holiday Island, where all your holidays come true.
Oh my god.
I can already see right now, just like Randy Quaid just doing the guy in the desert sees a mirage, and it's like a giant like iced drink or something, or like his friend turns into a chicken, like a roasted chicken. But it's literally just the Thanksgiving turkey bird, because that's the mascot for Thanksgiving. Like, you just see as a giant turkey, but it's his wife or something. I don't know.
Well, I was thinking about this when we were talking earlier about like there's the Easter Bunny. Like, what different holidays things might be? Cupid, I guess, for Valentine's Day.
Cupid.
Maybe? But I was thinking, like, what does Thanksgiving have that could be a thing? Could be a turkey. I was also thinking, like, have y'all ever read like the Clive Barker short story In the Hills of the Cities?
No, I haven't.
It's super scary. It's
a giant turkey in that one.
No, this gay couple is
Clive Barker.
Oh my god, that's even a regular turkey. I'm not going to get anywhere near.
But it's a turkey. But listen, it's Clive Barker, so it's got to be like a turkey in S&M fetish gear.
It's a turkey in leather.
That turkey has needs. Y'all, the turkey has needs. Is all I'm gonna say.
Hey, we're not. Listen, I'm not gonna kink shame this turkey. Okay.
No.
Look, okay.
More power to it.
I'm gonna take it. I guess pivot to equally far. Those like handprint turkeys that everybody always makes. It's but on a human ass.
Oh my god.
Anyway, moving forward to respectable territory after I've done something I'm not even ashamed of. So In the Hills of the Cities starts out with this this gay couple who they're traveling along, I think it's like an Eastern European, like this little road tour. They're vacationing, and they end up in the countryside in this isolated area they've never even heard of. They kind of go off in the middle of nowhere, and it turns out there is a ritual that two towns have in this countryside where every 10 years, I think it is, or so, every citizen, they like duct tape themselves together. Not duct tape, but it's like that, like ropes and fasteners and whatever, into the visages of these giants made of other people, of tinier people, like where they're like they become it's like muscles and bones and sinews and stuff, and then they fight every decade or so. And this couple stumbles upon that. It's super horrific imagery. It's really creepy and kind of unforgettable. So for Thanksgiving, hear me out, that, but with pilgrims. Just a giant meta pilgrim, so it's like made of pilgrims.
Walking Wicker Man?
Yeah, made of pilgrims. Yeah. With the hats and the buckles and whatever.
I can get down
my god,
with
yes.
Man. Yeah, because it's all about the harvest and shit, right? So
it's all about
Damn right.
Yes. So that's
if there's anything more scary than Puritans, it's probably that.
Not real. Yeah, exactly.
Other than Nazis.
Yeah. I wouldn't even say Nazis are scary. They're just like trash. Like they're just evil garbage.
What was that Hulu series? Like, it was a horror anthology, and they had something with pilgrims.
Oh, was that the Into the Dark films?
Oh,
yes.
It was like the Into the Dark series. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was called Feast or something.
Yeah,
something like that.
Right.
Feast or
Oh, I thought it was just
Pilgrim or whatever.
Pilgrim something. I don't know. I thought it also could be plausible. It was a fever dream, but okay.
Well, it was, but somehow Jason Blum has access to your dreams, and
Oh,
made
boy, well.
it into a film.
Hunger down.
Honestly, that's how he's always made content.
Exactly. He's like feverishly
and I'm using
right.
the word content correctly.
Yes. Yeah, he's just sitting in like a candlelit room in the middle of a pentagram, just feverishly writing Mike's dreams.
Like, that's how we get all the content. It's just from harvesting dreams.
Exactly. And in some cases, nightmares.
It's free IP, baby.
Love it. Yeah, so Sam, I think we're going off the rails because there's so much good stuff to talk about. Sam is great. Love it. I really look forward to... I'm glad they didn't have, overuse the character, but I'm also glad that they're making like a, some time distant, like a nice sequel, because there's so much you can do with it that's really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how they're gonna go into like Sam as an entity in the next one, but for now we can kind of just mull it over as we have been, since 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
And I can't quite draw immediate comparisons between him and other likewise characters or entities, but a couple of things do come to mind. And since Sam is this he's covered with burlap, his mask and his costume is pretty much all pretty much brown and orange burlap with some stitches in there for fun. One of the things that made me think of him, or them, I guess, is that speaking of Nightmare Before Christmas, there's the boogeyman kind of reminds me a little bit of Sam, and maybe a little bit more reined in sense of I don't know, some kind of rituals that they observe, kind of where the boogeyman is effectively a judge and an executioner at the same time. Sam kind of plays those roles too. And something a little bit less serious is in the short-lived yet absolutely fantastic animated series Freakazoid, there's a character named Candlejack, and he looks kind of a little bit like a combination of the two. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's this guy in a black costume, and he's wearing a burlap sack kind of mask / cowl, kind of covers his shoulders, and it's got a little cape thing in the middle. He almost kind of looks like let's see, maybe just a combination of the boogeyman and I'm trying to think of the character. I don't know, but he's more of a trickster, kind of self-aware character that knows when other characters are addressing the fourth wall, and they always, when they mention his name, he shows up, kind of like a Beetlejuice kind of thing. And there's also kind of a Beetlejuice-esque attitude in Sam, except minus all of the quips, because he's a kid, so he can't make sex jokes or whatever. So he kind of he feels like a weird mix of all of these things, yet the undead-ish monster version of himself kind of overrides everything, so you don't really know what's going on in Sam's head at all.
Yeah. There was a lot of mystery to the character, because he doesn't really speak, you can just kind of infer a lot from its actions, which is interesting to me.
Yeah.
I think a sequel should be done in real time. Here's my pitch. I think a sequel should be done in real time, And so this one has Sam being, it's been like, what, 15 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like Sam's in his young
about 15.
20s, you know, kind of protecting the rules of Halloween at a college, worried about his classes.
Oh no.
It's one off the rails. Never mind.
Damn, the college years.
Wait, yeah, he goes to Monsters University. He's trying to he's trying to get good at scaring people.
We'll call it Seminole House. Is what I think?
No.
Seminole House.
Oh my
man.
god.
I really think that I just I probably broke a Halloween rule with that. I might get murdered.
I might not stop him.
Think
that.
Think of how sad my dogs will be. My dogs are cute.
That's true. That's true.
Your dogs
I
are
will
really
think of
cute.
your dogs.
I feel like the number one reason why I feel like I'm not really worried about terrible possible afterlives. I'm like, well, my dogs like me and they're very cute. Who doesn't like my dogs? So as long as I got them around, I'm probably good.
Yep.
Yeah.
That tracks.
I'll just make my cute pups the icon for this episode, and then people will be like, I don't understand, but they're cute, but I don't get it. We're kind of naturally wrapping up, but do any of you fine folks have specific Halloween plans tomorrow?
I'm probably gonna do my usual stay in, pushing 40, so I'm my joints are creaky, so I stay in. I watch horror movies and do all that kind of stuff. It's a very chill, very senior citizen-ish thing that I do. So yeah.
I love it.
I support that.
I mean, the bottom line is you're still fucking excellent. So.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, no, it's just I'll do. I don't know if we were recording when I mentioned this, but I watch Halloween 1, 2, H2O, and then I cap my night off with Trick or Treat. So.
That is an A+ marathon. I love it. I endorse it. I would also endorse Halloween 1, 3, and Trick or Treat because they all have that Halloweenness in their bones. I love it. What about you, Luna? What do you got going on?
Tomorrow specifically, I still have some Muggle stuff I have to do because it is a Monday.
Indeed.
However, in the evening, my hope is that I will be able to marathon something or other. I'm not quite sure. I can't decide what yet, but I like to decide things when I decide them. So I will hopefully be able to carve some pumpkins, sit at home, eat some snacks, hang out with the critters and my partner, and watch stuff. Because I just spent all of my people energy for the weekend. So I'm not going anywhere. Although during the day I may go to there's a local parade that's a pretty big deal here. So I may do that. And tonight we're going to go see Dawn of the Dead in 3D.
That is very cool.
Nice. I bought tickets to that and I forgot about it because I bought so in advance. I was like, something else I was supposed to do. And then I realized it the day after when I got an email from Regal Cinemas saying how was your experience? And I was like, fuck, I didn't have one.
That has happened to me.
There was zero experience had.
That's okay. At least I wasn't too jazzed about it being in 3D. I don't think I don't think
it's gonna add anything.
It's just Dawn of the Dead. There's nothing that I necessarily need to see in 3D there. But it would just be cool to see the 78 Dawn of the Dead in theaters.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So try to watch it twice in theaters for me.
Okay.
Just bring a camcorder.
Once through my eyes and once through the glasses.
There you go.
Counts.
4 eyes for life.
Yeah.
So, Andre, what are you going to be doing? Do you have plans?
I don't necessarily have plans. Like, I kind of like to keep it open, but movies are always part of it. Since we did, my wife and I miss Dawn of the Dead in any dimension. It might be kind of fun to just to rewatch that one, because like I was kind of really looking forward to seeing that again, and I'm fortunate enough to own it on the excellent Second Sight Blu-ray release. And
Cool.
Even though my region-free Blu-ray player has since broken, or at least it doesn't do the thing I bought it to do, my PlayStation has been playing Region B Blu-rays, so I'm gonna cross my fingers and hope for the best. But anyway, I'm hoping to do at least one of the original Halloweens, maybe Dawn of the Dead, see what else, and maybe, I can finally get to one of these new Halloween or new horror movies that everyone's fucking talking about, that I just have not had a chance to get to, because I've been watching, I think I'm between 60 and 70 horror movies this month. I take these challenges and I overlap them, so like I'm basically watching at least 62 movies between the span of September 15th, mid-September, to the end of October, and that kind of takes up a lot of my time, so I don't really have a lot of time for new shit, but I don't know. I'll see what I see.
You know what? You're still badass, though. All you are fucking great. So whatever choices you make, I endorse them, and that's very sincere. For me, Katie got us tickets to Halloween Horror Nights for
Hell yeah.
Halloween. I think we went to Halloween. We've gone every year since we. I don't think we went the first year that we were here, but then since then, we've gone every year. So it's kind of like an October ritual. And I think we ended up going on Halloween last year, and I just like it a bunch. Like, I know it's kind of, I don't know, in some ways it's kind of conceptually gimmicky, but they do such a good job on the actual design, like the production design and the costume design. Like, they're good. And so, I love being in horror movies. Like being surrounded by them and in the studio and everything all spooky. So I have a good time, and so we're doing that.
I love going to haunts. I think it's so much fun, and I love it when they have the production money to make it accurate.
Yeah, that's why I kept coming back, because like I went the first time and they had like the Stranger Things house. I think that was the first time I went, and then when the Demogorgon came out, I was like, that looks fucking camera ready. It looks good. So I just keep coming back. It's super fun. And then tonight, I have choices. There's some Hammer horror at the New Beverly, Tarantino's theater home. And then also, I kind of, on the other hand, want to see the new Park Chan-wook film, because it's not horror, but we just saw Thirst last night in theater. And so I'm kind of on a kick.
Yeah. I've been wanting to get to that too. That's Decision to Leave, right?
Right.
Okay. I've heard some really good stuff about that.
Me too. And so, I mean, such a master, like Old Boy, Handmaiden, Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, Lady Vengeance, all super, super good, very talented. So I'm still on the fence about that one, and I want to know if I have a blank check to do something that's not necessarily horror. But it's gonna be fun. So, well, I'm so glad that I got to bring the Munster family back together, because we've been on a hiatus and we've all been busy doing our own thing, and spooky season is here, so the band's back together, and I am so glad I got to chat with you fine folks.
Yay.
Oh yes, I missed all y'all.
Hell yeah.
Me too. And I missed you folks at home. Thank you for spending some of your spooky season with us. And we're so happy to get to chat about our favorites with you. And hit us up online. Follow us at HFT Deep Dive. Speaking of following, while Twitter exists, I'll start with you, Mike. Tell the people at home how they can find you and your stuff.
Yeah, so you can find my book, The Ultimate Guide to Strange Cinema, from Schiffer on Amazon. I'm also, all my stuff is on Twitter, so that is Strange Cinema 65.
Perfect. I would recommend that. Thank you so much. Luna, how about you?
You can find me at Luna_Minuit, that's MINUIT, on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok. You'll probably get most updates through Instagram, to be honest. And I think the next thing I have coming up is some mermaid shit, so check it out.
Fuck yeah. Speaking of which, we need to do a mermaid episode.
Hell yeah.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. That's great.
Cool.
Now that we have an actual monstrous on the show.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Andre, what about you?
If you want to, you can follow me on Twitter. That is at DemoniDisco. Demon with an I, Disco. I'm also fervently on Letterboxd. You can find me there at Hamburger Harry. I'm insane. I watch at least 1 or 2 movies a day, and I write about it. I also write about movies from time to time for Geek Vibes Nation. Tend to stick to the genre horror adjacent area. And for my other, I also run an independent blog just by myself, and it's Celluloid Consomme. I'm still working on getting out all these reviews for Fantastic Fest Remote. I watched a lot of shit, and I'm amazed I remember some of the details from these movies a month plus out. So I'm almost done though. By the time that this episode comes out, I should be done. So you can read all that shit if you want. And since it's spooky times, I also just want to do a quick shout out for one of my I put together an ultimate Halloween rotation movie list. It's a fucking monster. It's about 500 movies long.
Oh shit.
But the whole point of it is that you go to the link for the list, and then you hit the shuffle function at the top. In Letterboxd they have a shuffle thing, and just pick the top movie if you dare. It's a mix of absolute classics, like Halloween or Night of the Living Dead, or I did throw in Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 4, which is not a Christmas movie. So you have a lot of weird shit in there. So if you want to check it out, I do recommend trying it. If you don't like the result, you can just, rate and comment on this podcast and say, hey, Andre, fuck you. Otherwise, you might enjoy it. I'll just put a link to that list here in the description.
Fantastic. Folks at home, I would recommend it. I would recommend everything that everybody on the show does, because they are all awesome. That's why I asked them to be on the show, because I'm like, I want it to be awesome. And you're great. Can you bring that here? So, thank you all for stopping by, and folks at home. I'm always doing 80,000 things. So, if you found this, you probably can find me and the stuff that I'm doing. But I've been doing a lot of interviews for the fine folks at Looper, and reviews and interviews at Slash Film, and I'm starting my own site most likely. I bought the URL and everything. I just need to have time to design some stuff. So you'll find out more about that soon. And I will end with plugging my own letterbox list, if that's fine.
There's only room for one.
Damn! I didn't know that we had pivoted to Highlander rule.
We have a quota of 1.
Shenanigans.
No, go ahead though.
I'm glad I get a temporary exemption because you'll like the list that I have to give to the people. On Letterboxd, I occasionally post and repost a list named 150 monster movies since 2000 that you can watch without supporting Victor fucking Salva.
Hell yeah.
And its origins, 'cause fuck that guy, as we have said at least a dozen times on this show, is every now and then Jeepers Creepers fucking trends. And people are like, why? He's terrible. You're terrible. Stop being terrible. And then someone's like, but it's a good movie. Well, here's the thing. You can support a fuck ton of great, awesome, clever, original, well-made monster movies without having to support a dickhead. And given that this is Monster Month, I find it's appropriate to pitch that list. And it started out at 50, and then every now and then he trends again, and I get angry, and then I'm just out of spite add another 25 to the list, 50 to the list, and now it's 150. So
you got the spirit of Sam in you. It's the spirit of Halloween.
I just become possessed, and I'm like, must destroy, throw all the monsters at it. So check out my list if you want some monster goodness that doesn't make you feel like a bad person.
Yeah, and you know what? I would love to see Sam from Trick or Treat just fucking eviscerate, maybe vivisect fucking Victor Salva in perhaps a sequel.
I think that's perfect. He's like he always carrying around that burlap sack, right? It's full of Victor Salva, that's what it's full of. Turns out.
Victor Salva, human paraphernalia.
Amazing.
For legal purposes, I may or may not cut this from the episode, but
yeah, I mean, we're not threatening death on you, Victor. We just fucking hate you.
Yeah, like, you're just shitty, and it's a great plot idea. So, folks at home, thank you so much for spending some time with us. Stay safe, stay spooky, and
check your candy.
Check your candy, scare your friends and loved ones, and absolutely do not put out a jack-o'-lantern before the end of Halloween night. Once more, I'd like to extend a special thanks to our guests this episode, and to all of you out there listening. From the dawn of recorded human civilization, we've been fascinated by monsters and the monstrous. They've inhabited our dreams and nightmares, they've been our protectors and our villains, they've symbolized our fears and vices, our hopes and potential. Fears of creatures and the night that nourishes them were key inspirations and fuel for the rise of human civilization, the need to get out of the shadows, behind the walls, and into the light. In many ways, understanding our monsters is an important part of understanding our world and ourselves. So thank you for taking this journey with us, we humanoids from the Deep Dive.